back. Today we continue to tell stories that inspire change, push boundaries, and promote hope. Joining me in the studio today is Colleen Marquetta of Hope Rises. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us. I am so happy to be here today. As you know, and you've been talking about it in your earlier segments, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. It is also National Foster Care Awareness Month. And I'm here with John and Kristen Grimaldi. They have a personal story of foster care and adoption that they're going to share this morning. And also, John is the executive director of Every Child. John, I'm going to pass it right over to you, and if you can explain Every Child and its mission.
Yes. So Every Child is a local nonprofit that is really committed to reaching vulnerable kids right here in our community. And we do that through coming alongside of foster, adoptive, and kinship parents, and then as well as being very active on the prevention side. So we do that a couple ways. We partner with current foster and adoptive parents, but we come alongside the church, which is such a huge asset to our community. And then we also partner with local agencies, as they're the ones who oftentimes are at the front of a family crisis or a situation that results in a child going into foster care. So our heart really is to be able to wrap around a child, whether they're in crisis in their home or whether they've been removed out, they're in a foster or kinship kind of situation, just to be able to care for them, care for the people who are caring for them, and ultimately see the foster care crisis reverse.
Would you guys like to share your story of how you got involved with Every Child?
Sure. So when I was growing up, my parents actually were foster parents for most of my childhood. So I knew, I think, from a young age that I would be a foster parent at some point. So a few years after we got married, we started talking about a family and what that would look like for us. So we went through the licensing process in 2018. And actually the first call we got was not from social services. It was from a relative of a child that my parents had cared for a little girl named Sophia, who we actually ended up adopting. We fostered her for 2.5 years and ended up adopting her. So we're blessed and thankful that we have, but we've also fostered a lot of kids in the past 5 years. So we had a little boy that we loved a lot for 2.5 years who ended up being able to go live with his biological dad. So while that's really hard for us and it's a loss, we were really thankful that we could stand in the gap for him while his dad was able to do some things he needed to do to be ready to parent. So,
John, you were sharing some numbers with me before about how many children there are in foster care and how important it is to get people involved in foster care.
Yeah, they're looking at recent numbers. There's about 400,000 children in the United States who are currently in foster care, 20,000 in New York State, and even just looking at the most recent numbers released by New York State, last year alone there were 690 kids right here in Erie County who went into care. And one of the issues is there's not that many foster care homes. So a lot of these kids will wind up maybe going into a residential facility, which is not the best. We really believe the best place for a child is going to be among a family who can care for them, meet some of their unique needs that comes as a result of enduring trauma at young ages, and then really as well, being able to build that bridge back to the family at some point in time. And so even, with this being Mental Health Awareness Month, I think that that's a really important thing because 90% of kids who are in foster care will endure a traumatic experience. About 85% will wind up battling some kind of mental illness. And a lot of times when those things go unchecked, what we see is those children then end up homeless, incarcerated, all kinds of other problems that come. And so there's really a bunch of different things that people can be doing to help support the foster care system right here in New York.
And you also have some fun activities that you do with Every Child. Do you want to share some of those things that you have planned?
So one of the things we love to do is just be able to provide kind of one of the tiers that we operate on is support for foster, adoptive, and kinship families. And so what we do is we provide events that are tailored for those children. Whether that's a sensory-friendly event, whether that's an event that we run on an entire facility that really allows a couple different things. One, those children to be in a safe environment where those people who are around them are used to seeing some of the behaviors and some of the challenges that they may have. But then it allows for the parents and the families as a whole to connect with one another. There really is so much support that's out there. within the foster care community. But a lot of times, foster adoptive kinship parents, they wind up being isolated. So we provide those events where they can get connected in and meet one another. We also provide for foster and adoptive family support groups. We have a couple different support groups, one in the North Towns, one in the South Towns, where moms and dads or aunts, uncles, who's ever caring for a child can come and just talk about a topic if they choose. But if not, they can also just kind of receive some of the support and care from other people who are also in those trenches.
It is shocking to hear how many kids, over 600 kids in our community, that had to go into the foster care system. But for our viewers out there that may be touched and want to find out how they can get involved and how they can support, how do they do so?
Yes, absolutely. So what they'll do is they'll just reach out to us, every-child.com. That's going to be the best way to connect with us. But there's kind of 3 tiers that we operate on that allow people kind of easy steps to get involved. Because here's the thing, not everybody is called to be a foster parent, but everybody can do something to help the foster care system. And so on the preventative side, we actually have this program that we are implementing here in Buffalo, in kind of the 8 counties of Western New York, that actually just a couple weeks ago we got word from the state that is now going to be going live in all New York State, called Care Portal. And so what Care Portal is agency workers can actually, with their clients, with their families that they're working with, when they come across a family that's at risk of being separated and the child being removed from the home because of some needs in the home, what they do is they go and they take those needs and they input it into Every Child's Care Portal, whether that's a crib, maybe that's some clothes, maybe that's a high chair, a car seat. And they put that into the system, and then what it does is it actually goes out to all of the responding churches, individuals, or even businesses that we have signed up for Care Portal, where they can respond. They can take the bunk bed, they can take the high chair, and they can go and, depending on the situation, meet with that caseworker, meet with that family, and let them know that there's people out there in the community who care about them, who want to help. And so if you're a church leader, if you're a business owner, if you're just a responder in the community who's like, man, I want to do something tangible, but maybe I can't foster parent, this is an easy way. Go right onto our website, every-child.com, and you can sign up there. One of the other things that you could do, and we're always looking for monthly supporters. So Every Child Champions, every training that we do, those events that we're talking about, we will put those on for free or very, very, very little of a charge. And that's because we've got those monthly supporters that make it possible. And so, man, we would really love to have just a growing ability to be able to reach more kids, and we're going to do that through our monthly support.
And making great memories for those kids.
Absolutely.
Yes. You guys are doing incredible work. Thank you so much for what you do. We'll also put that information over on our website, daytimebuffalo.com. Thanks so much for coming in.